Okay, hold on just a second. All right. Okay.
Okay, so good morning, everybody live, and to anybody who's watching on the replay, welcome to the 7 a.m. Club. It is Sunday, March 10th.
That's it. So welcome, everybody. So as you all know, we've been, whoever's been following has been here regularly. What we're doing is we're following the 11 universal laws. They are forgotten laws or the invisible laws, but these laws are always, always operational. And so we started about 4 weeks ago. It's so fun because by the number of laws, we started 4 weeks ago. And the first law that we started was with the law of thinking. And that law of thinking dictates that we can only attract what we think. So we went through that, and then we went through law number 2, which is the law of supply, and it says that the law of supply depicts that the universe is a source of unlimited supply. Then we went through law number 3, which was the law of attraction, a law of vibration, which is the law of attraction essentially is about what we focus on, we will attract. And today we are going to dig into the law of receiving. So the law of receiving is the law of receiving works hand in hand with giving. We must give in order to receive. However, we need to let go and not being attached to what we want to receive too obsessively. We need to trust the universe will somehow give what we want. All we need to do is to be ready to receive it. How much we receive will be limited by how much we allow it. So in essence, basically what that means is that you give without expecting anything in return. Okay, you don't give somebody something thinking like and there's like a motive behind it. Okay, like I'm giving this so maybe he can they can let me use their car, or I'm gonna do this so maybe they can let me crash at their place when I'm in town. The idea is that you just give openly, knowing that you will get it back. Sometimes it comes through a different channel. It can come from a different person. And that's it. And so for me, one experience that I did is I know that a few years back, I had helped a friend in need in terms financially. And when I needed help financially, out of the blue, somebody else came and gave it to me. It was really crazy, it came back, not even through the same channel, through the same person. It just came back, So just remember that every time that you give of yourself, whether it doesn't have to be monetarily, it could be your time, it could be your expertise, it could be your friendship, it could be your ear, just listening to somebody, it could be company that you give. It will always come back to you at, again, unexpected moments and not necessarily from the same person that you gave it to. So go ahead, Carolyn. I'll throw it back.
So that's really important, that the whole, because in the law of receiving, okay, in a passage from the Bible, from Luke, give and it shall be given unto you, good measure running over. In other words, the more you give, the more you'll receive. But the motive, your thoughts, the way that you conduct your thoughts, the thoughts that you give it with are really, really important. So, people are in the mindset of the law of receiving, meaning what can I get? What can I get what can I get? But the law of receiving is like a coin with two sides. The law of receiving doesn't work. It works in tandem with the law of giving. So, and it can't be your thoughts, and your motive has to be only in the realm of giving. Like just a quick example, even for me, it wasn't a financial giving, but I'm a caretaker. I mean, I've caretaken a lot of different people, in my life. So I'm naturally a caregiver, caretaker type of person. So I'm giving and helping other people just because that's just what I do. And I think most people on the call are that way. But I'm never calculating, what I'm going to get in return. It's just pure giving. And in fact, I've used the example of the month of December where there were so many different things that kind of challenges, things that kind of came up in my circumstance of my life. And when I was discussing with Pazit, I said, it's really interesting that when I landed on the ground, when I fell and I fractured my ankle, my butt hadn't even hit the pavement. And there were like 3 people from nowhere that kind of came in to be of assistance, to be helpful. I was with a friend of mine at the time, and she helped me back. And within a couple of minutes, I had another friend who was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to come right over. She's canceled her work that morning. She came right over. She says, you're getting in the car. We're taking you to the hospital, get an x-ray done. I didn't have to ask for anybody's help. It just showed up. Right. And it was almost overwhelming because I'm not somebody who reaches out for help, but I didn't have to. And when I realized what was really going on, it was the law of receiving in full bloom, because it was coming to me as I have given to other people. So sometimes we give and we receive and it's happening like the invisible laws. They're all happening in the background. They're all happening for us all the time, but we're not actually aware of the mechanics that are actually going on. So when you become aware and you know that you're a giver, know that it will always come back to you. That's just the law. That's how it works. So I'm just going to read a couple of small passages here from Raymond Hollywell's Working with the Law.
Right. The most important thing I was going to mention too is when anybody gives, don't have a second thought behind it. You know, I think that's the most important. Like, don't give if you don't want to give. I think that's what I'm trying to say. You know, don't ever give and then you're like, oh, I don't really want to give. I'm just giving because like I feel
Obligated.
Obligated. Exactly. That's not giving. That's not giving. And that's going to come back to you the same way. So just remember, you know, when you give with an open heart, and you give because you want. So only give when you want and when your heart is open, with not expecting anything in return, knowing that the law is in place and that you will always give, you will always receive what you give. And again, it will come in unexpected ways. It might be a different person, a different situation. So yeah, you can trust the law because it works all the time.
And what Pazit said earlier is, it's, you know, we tend to think of giving and receiving in the terms of monetary, but it could be giving your time or your energy or your friendship, or giving a lot of gratitude towards a person or appreciation. That's all giving as well. So if you're living in the space of gratitude, and you're grateful for people and you're appreciative of people, that's all giving of your thought energy. That's all giving of yourself to somebody else. So giving what you give and what you have to give in time, energy, knowledge, loyalty, money, right? You give what you can give and know that it will come back. So in the law of receiving, giving is the first part of the fundamental law of life, and it's the first law of all creation. The attitude of getting is the law of life in a congested state or in a repressed action. So if you're always looking for how can I get something, how can I gain, you're not putting the law into practice. The law of receiving and being willing and ready to receive what's coming must be used with the law of giving. As long as getting dominates your mind, that mind is in a paralyzed condition, being limited in its action in accord with the fundamental law of creation. So it has to work in tandem. Mm-hmm. The other thing that we always discuss in all the laws, and they're all the most effective when you're in a relaxed state, right? Being in the state of anxiety or trying so hard to get something, or even trying, like thinking of ways to give. And when you start thinking about these things, you tend to think of the expectation that comes with it. So when you're in a relaxed state, there is no congestion, there's no confusion. It's all an easy give, and you will have an easy receive. So yeah, when woman relaxes from the strain, the law has a chance to reply to his desire and things begin to change. So if you don't remember anything else when you get up every single day and as you go about your day, become aware and start practicing the habit of calm. I know that Val reads Serenity every single day. She's accountable to it every day and she reads it. And if you were to read that, or just keep in your mind's eye that, you know, everything is always working out for me. You know, everything is really, really good. You know, I love my life. And if you say these things to yourself, you know, you end up in a state of gratitude. And when you're in a state of gratitude, you're also in a state of giving. So it says here, you've seen the law work on trivial things such as books or clothing or invitations. Possibly at some time you sent out a thought or a desire and then forgot completely about it. That's in the spirit of giving without expectation. You give and then you just let it go. You just give it out there because it's your desire to do it. You don't think about the return on that giving.
Yeah, you don't hold an account. I was gonna say you don't hold an account. You're not like, oh, I gave this one that, so now she owes me this. I gave this one that, now she owes me this. There's no account.
Right. So the next thing you knew, you had that book presented to you, received an invitation, you were walking down the street, you bumped into the friend you were so desired to meet. Yet sometimes when it comes to more important things, to larger things, we fail to release our desires and prayers as readily, and anxiety and tension holds everything fast. So we have to be aware that that law comes into effect also with the essence of being calm, releasing, and then being in a state of receiving. In other words, when things come my way, they're going to come my way, but you know they will, because it's law. It must work that way. That's why, you know, when you're giving to, for example, when you're in business and, you know, you're sitting regularly and you're giving a bit of your time to people, you know, you don't want to calculate, well, I'm giving this time, I'm maybe not charging for this time. It's all good, right? You just give freely because you know that the law is going to work. And in some way, you know, that all comes back to us. So it just makes giving that much more pleasurable and easy because you know that it's, you know, it's all works by law. And nothing should be forced. Nothing should be planned. It's just a natural state of giving.
Yeah, I was gonna say like there was another example that just came to mind. Sometimes I would do like some shoots for some people, and like it was just like to help somebody out. And I remember like not even like an hour later, I'd have somebody call me and book a shoot, you know, like it's so crazy, like the timing. Before I didn't understand it, you know, I didn't understand it, but it come back like so fast, like so fast, you know, as soon as you just help somebody from your heart, you know, just from your heart, because you know, like that's something you want to do, it's something you want to give. It can really come back fast. And I've even like seen it with other people, friends that picked up tabs, stuff like that. It would come back so fast to them. Sometimes the waiter would be like, oh yeah, well, you know, the drinks are on us, you know. It would be so funny, and we'd be watching and we start laughing, you know, because we understand the laws, you know. So
well, do you remember at our Power Up event last June, Valerie, you were there, when we, you and I had decided that we were going to give Doug, because Doug has a charity called the Garden of Eden, which is his daughter's name is Eden. And the Garden of Eden is it's associated with the Thinking to Results program so that he can give and teach kids. So you donate to his foundation and his time becomes, you know, like covered. So he's got this foundation, and Pazit and I decided in gratitude to him for coming to Montreal, for speaking to our group, for putting on that evening, we put money in a card of gratitude. And we put this money in the card. He didn't know we were doing that. And then during the evening, you know, he gave out money, and he was proving the law of receiving. And so he was giving out money to people in the room, explaining some of the laws, but he did not realize that the law was going to work within like 5 minutes for him, because we had already prepared a card where the money was coming right back. Right? So, I mean, he proved the law just by standing there.
Yeah, and he would say, I remember him saying very clearly, he goes, he would give the money away, and he's like, I'm not worried. I know it's going to come back. I know it's going to come back. And Carolyn and I were laughing because we're like, oh my God, so crazy, you know, because we were thinking what to give him. And then we thought, well, the best thing is to donate to his foundation. That would be like the, you know, the best thing. And so, I mean, literally came back, and like, that's what I'm saying, that once you're aware of these laws, it starts to be funny, you know, because you see how fast they work. And it's very playful too, you know. So
yeah, so I remember it this way, you know, you give in abundance, just give, just be that person who just gives in abundance. You willingly give, and then you graciously receive.
Yeah.
So there's such a beautiful way in that phrasing, because both of them feel so good, and feeling good, right, is what it's all about. You know, the feeling of everything is the secret. So when you're feeling good and you're feeling that feeling of abundance and gratitude, and you're willingly just giving, and then you're so grateful when you receive, all the laws are working. I mean, they're always working for you, but that's the spirit of living, right? These are some of God's creative laws, so that you're always really feeling good, about your life. So I know that we have a couple of people on today with, something to share. And I love that, because that would be, that's the most fun, when you start becoming aware of these experiences that are happening in your life. And then you're now connecting the dots to the laws, right? So I wanted Jenny on the call this morning, and she comes on the call on Sundays. But Jenny was focusing her attention on revenue, on earning, on money, and manifesting, more. And so we talk often about, things come to us in unexpected ways. We don't need to know the how things are going to come. So Jenny, you must have been in the spirit of receiving, because without even expecting, you received. Do you want to just tell us that story?
Sure. Good morning, everyone. As you guys were explaining everything, I can't think of, like, because you were saying, like, give with a, I can't think of what I've done to give to receive what I received, but maybe
You're probably giving all the time, Jenny.
Yeah, I'm not aware, but
sometimes we forget, because we're not holding account. You know what I mean? Like, when you're not holding account, like, you've given, you forget. Like, I would forget, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then we come back, and then the person would tell me, well, you know what? Once when I needed you help me, and I'm like, I did? And it was just so natural for me, And they're like, yeah, I didn't forget. It was like maybe 10, 15 years ago. You know what I mean? It's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyway, as Carolyn said, I've been struggling with money paradigms, and I've been trying to make it more positive and that kind of thing. And so in 2017, I asked for a divorce for my husband. And so as we were doing all that, we closed down accounts, and we did this, that, and the other. And so I had a credit card in my name. He had a credit card in his name. We closed it all down. And then being the creative, independent person now, sometimes money is a little lean. And so I was going to through my accounts, and I was like, oh, I need groceries. My one account, I had $30. My other account, I had, I think, 130, but I have a bill coming out this week that's 80. So I was like, okay, this is going to be kind of tight. I don't ever open my mail. I still get snail mail, and I opened it, and I opened it because it was from Capital One. I'm like, why do I have something from Capital One? And in my head, I automatically went, because money paradigm. I'm like, oh great, I'm gonna owe someone money. So I opened it
money
up.
Paradigm.
It's totally money paradigm. I'm like, oh God, what do I owe them? Anyway, so I open it up, and it's a rebate check for $150. And I'm like, really? Like, this is awesome. So I went and got groceries, and I didn't have to use my credit card. And so it was, but it was a moment. And Carolyn was the first one that I messaged her. I'm like, all right, so this just happened.
Okay, here's the important part of the story. You knew what was happening. Okay. Yeah. I mean, you messaged me, but you also messaged me to go, this really works.
Yes, I did.
Okay, so it wasn't like some check arrived and you went, wow, that's a nice surprise. Like, you understood that, you were focusing, we talk often about, okay, we want to earn more money. Well, you have a book that's coming out and different ways that money is going to come to you, but you don't ever have to know how. I think what most people struggle with is trying to control that part of the program. Right? They're always thinking, okay, I want to manifest this. How am I going to do that? You can create ways of expanding, because the whole law of compensation works in exchange. So what am I creating that will then generate a revenue stream? And the more you do that, the more revenue streams and the more wealth that you build. But you're not sitting back calculating how it's all going to happen, because we don't know. Yeah. It all works for us. We don't know.
And the other part of it too is, it doesn't, like you were saying, it doesn't have to be a large amount. I mean, $150 to most people is nothing, but to me, that's groceries, and I still have like $50 in my, like, it's just me, so I don't eat a lot, right?
It doesn't have to be a lot. The law works. Exactly. If you saw a penny on the ground, Okay, that I used to tell my kids that, you know, if I'm thinking and earning and I'm focusing on wealth and I'm focusing on money, money shows up everywhere. Pazit finds dimes. I know Wanda Peel's on the line. She finds dimes too. I found pennies. I just look down, there's pennies. I'm walking in a grocery store, I look down, there's change on the ground. And I remember once saying that to my kids, and I picked up the penny back when we had pennies. I picked up the penny, and my kids go, "What are you doing? It's just a penny." I went, "No, it's evidence."
Right. And you have to remember that nothing is big or small. It's only your mind that makes it so.
Exactly.
There's no difference between $1 and $1,000,000. It's only your mind that says this is big, this is small. So it's only your mind that makes it so. Nothing is good or bad. It's your mind that decides and makes it so. Everything just is. So you have to remember that. And the only thing we have to control is absolutely not the how. The only thing we have to control is our mind, the thoughts that are going in our mind, because the thoughts that are going in our mind are creating pictures of our reality. So it's the outside is just an out picture of what's going on here. So if it's wealth you want, you just have to make sure that you always have wealth on your mind. You know, when you were saying that, oh my God, now I owe another bill, you know, that could bring an unexpected expense. So you don't want to go there. So what do is you stop it right away, you know? And when you see like a bill, you don't think of bills. You think of like, what checks am I getting? You start being playful because now you're on the other side. You have to remember that when you switch sides, so does your thoughts. Where you used to think bills and debt, now you think of, you know, what unexpected check is there going to be? You think of wealth, increase, you know, is this an opportunity to increase? Is this an opportunity to invest? You think growth. So you have to remember that when you're planting wealth, your job is to really guard your mind of any scarcity thoughts, because if you have one, or even just one is enough to bring an expense that could be just as much or close to what you've received, you know? So it's like in and out, in and out, in and out, you know? You get money, but money goes back. You get money, but money goes back. That's only because the way your mind is thinking. So guard your mind. Your mind is your workshop. You are the creator of your reality. And we're going through these laws with you so you can know them and you can be more aware of them, and you keep studying them because these laws are universal laws. Everything happens by universal laws.
They're always working. All of them are working, like they're all interdependent on the other. They're not, you know, well, someday the law of compensation works and some days maybe it doesn't. The only thing that gets in the way of the laws working for us instead of against us is ourselves.
Yeah,
Our
it's our
thoughts get in
thoughts.
the way.
Yeah,
Right?
it's the way we think about something.
Yeah, so you want to be in an abundant mindset. So check comes in. I mean, you want to feel so much gratitude for that and appreciation for the law working, and you've just recognized the law is working. If you feel really good about that, you're just going to generate more good feeling thoughts. So stay on that. Feel really good, and then before you know it, something else really good is going to show up, and something else really good. And when you start paying attention to the good gets better. So you're going to find yourself feeling good and paying attention to the good so much that those old thoughts of, oh my gosh, there's an envelope in the mail. It's going to be a check. It's not going to, like, it's going to be debt. Those thoughts will slowly fade. And you'll only be thinking about things that are really, really good. Okay?
And I find one fun game that you can do is like, how does it feel now that all my bills are paid? And you can shift the way you feel right away, because you have to remember, as we went through the law of attraction, law of vibration, your job is really to keep yourself in a feel good mood. So of course, if you see like bills, I mean, when you're going to look at it, you're not going to feel good. So you say, oh my God, how would I feel if everything was paid? Right away, you feel relief. Oh my God, how do you feel now that you have so much money in your account? Oh, well, I could sleep better. It makes it easier for me. So you get yourself into the mood. You take yourself, and how would it feel, now that I have all the money, now that all my bills are paid, now that I don't ever have to worry about money again, my account is overflowing. How do I feel now that I can give easily to people? How do I feel now that I can go wherever I want? And you start like falling in love with that thought. So the idea is really fall in love with the idea of what you want to create.
I remember an example Peggy McCall gave a long time ago when she was first really applying the laws, and a credit card bill would come in and immediately she would white out the balance owing and she would put 0. And every month she did that. Okay, she paid her expenses, but she was always grateful that she could put any money, like let's say you're paying down a debt on a credit card. Just be grateful that you can put whatever amount you have the funds to pay something toward that. So instead of saying, "Oh my gosh, I'd like to pay more. I don't have enough to pay more," be grateful for the amount you do have, and then wipe out the balance on your statement and put a zero. And keep looking at the zero, and it's at zero, and it's at zero, and I'm so happy and grateful it's at zero. I have no balance. You know what? The money that you do need to clear that debt will start showing up, because you focused your attention on the solution, on the result of what it is. So, so that's why, you know, for example, if you're giving, let's say you're giving of your time to somebody, you're really, really generous with your time. The law of receiving dictates that that generosity will be returned to you. So it's not just I give you money, therefore money will come back to me. I could be giving you all of my time and money will come back to me. So in the spirit of giving generously, no, without thinking, well, I'm doing this so that I can get something back. Forget that mindset, just give. And know that the law of receiving, and be ready to receive, and be grateful when it does show up. I think that's what's really key, is the way.
Yeah, don't be like, no, I don't want this. Oh no, thank you. No. Graciously receive. When somebody offers you something, don't be like, no, oh please, oh, can I offer you a coffee? No. Yeah, take it. Yeah, thank you. Graciously receive. Always graciously receive.
Yeah. Okay, so there was Jenny, and I think Maria. Can
yeah,
share?
Wanda says, I was reading in the chat, Wanda has a story. I would love to hear Maria's story. So Maria, I want her to share. She's also practicing the law of abundance, law of compensation, and it comes in different ways. So Maria, why don't you share the story with us?
Hey, good morning, you guys. Thank you so much for having me. This is so fun. So fun. I wanted to, first of all, kind of put things in perspective before the story. I want to make it short so that everybody has time to speak, because it's so good.
Right.
I had I had gone to the Dream Club that Pazit has, and she had posted that day something that said, when you know how the invisible laws work, you'll no longer be afraid to move in the direction of your dreams. And for some reason, something clicked in my brain. And I was like, wait a minute. If it's a law, then it has to work. It's not like, I'm like gravity. I don't just like throw something and expect it to fly away. It's gonna fall. So we were talking in our, convo, whatever it was, and she was talking. She said something about, sometimes I'm in a cafe and I'm like, I'm gonna get a free coffee. And so she'll like look at something and she's like, I thank you for the coffee, and she gets her coffee. So long story short, my daughters and I had we played hooky the other day from school because I love them, and I was like, oh, I just want to spend time with them. We went to Barnes and Nobles, and as soon as we got there, we had just had snack at home. They make these big ginormous cookies, right? And so my little one started, I want a cookie. And I'm like, Anna, we just had a snack. Like, no, I want a cookie. Then they came around with little samples of a cookie. And I'm like, there you go. There's a sample of a cookie. She's like, no, I want a big cookie. And then normally I would be aggravated, or I would be like, oh, God bless Anna. And, but the reality was, what I could see in my bank account, there was no way I could even get a cookie, right? But I don't look at that bank account because I'm not like, my bank account, I have no, I don't say I have negative, I have abundance. So I was like, well, let's see what Pazit and I have, and the master, like what we've been talking about. I said, girls, let's take the books and let's go sit in the cafe. So we went and we sat in the cafe, and the girls are like, why are we doing this, Mom? And I said, do you remember what I always talk to you guys about abundance and how God, you ask and you shall receive? And she's like, yes. And I said, okay, well, we're gonna manifest a cookie, right? So we go and we sit in the cafe, and the girls, the older two, are reading their books, and they're very into their books. And the little one, Anna's just reading her book, and then every 10 minutes she's like, I want my cookie. And I'm like, have patience, Anna. I'm like, it takes a little bit of time. And so Mommy's working on it. And so I would sit there and I would kind of close my eyes and imagine the warm chocolate chip cookie, because it's about this big, and imagine us sharing the cookie and thankful for the cookie. But here's the funny part. I decided, and this is my biggest lesson, to could control, right? So I looked through my wallet and I saw a coupon and I went over there and I'm like, do you think this will work? And in the end, I had to pay something, which I couldn't. And so I went back and I sat down. She goes, did you get the cookie? And I was like, not yet. It hasn't manifested yet. But I realized, of course it hasn't, because you're trying to manipulate it your way. And you can't, it's not going to come in the way that you expect it. So stop it. Sit down, imagine the end result, and just be grateful. So I sat down and I was like, thank you, God, for the cookie. Thank you, God, for the cookie. And then about 45 minutes later, I tell my girls, okay, guys, we got to leave in 5 minutes because it was time to get ready to go to dinner and everything else. And Anna's like, but I haven't had my cookie. And I said, well, Anna, the cookie's coming. Like, relax. So I took my middle one to the bathroom. And as I'm walking back to the table, because my eldest stayed with my little one, which is the bathroom's right next door. I'm walking and I see Anna with her big blue eyes and 3 bags smiling. She runs to me and she goes, Mommy, look, 3 big cookies. That nice lady over there bought us 3 cookies. And I was like, what? Of course she did. So there was a lady who I thought it was going to come from the people in the cafe or whatever else, but there was a lady that was sitting watching the girls reading, and it triggered her when she was younger. When she had her daughter, they would go to bookstores and they would sit in hours and read, and she's like, I couldn't stand looking at those girls and not wanting to give them something because it was reminding me of the beautiful times and whatever. So we didn't get 1 cookie, we got 3 cookies. So I think the biggest story there is God, for me, right, for my faith, I'm like, wow, God, you really one-up me. Like, you're always showing off. Like, give him space. So I've always asked this way. I always go, this or something better, this or something, like giving him a cushion to always show off. And let me tell you, my girls will never forget that. And they've gone around telling everybody how we have the inner power to be able to ask that they got free cookies. It was just incredible. So anyway, that's my story.
Thank you so much for sharing, Maria. No, I love the story, but it just goes to show, it just goes to show that the laws are always working. And you're right, it does come in an unexpected way. And I love these stories, and why it's important to share these stories is because it'll solidify everybody's belief. What happens is we're going from one mindset to the next. And so, the more people show that this is the way to live, you can erase everything you've learned and go confidently with conviction that these laws work. Just like electricity, when you flip the switch on, the light will be there. You don't question it. Nobody understands how it works. We just know that it's law, and we just know that it works, like the law of gravity as well. So thank you so much for sharing.
Do you want to share what we talked about with the clouds?
With Bob Proctor, yeah.
It might be something fun for all of you guys to do, and this is very quick. It takes 2 seconds. I had seen Bob Proctor in I'm obsessively looking at his stuff, and he spoke about one day he was walking to go do a conference, and he was with a guy, and he started to think about clouds and how lasers can put holes in clouds. And he's like, well, our minds are like lasers, so maybe we can put a hole in a cloud. So he started to erase clouds and try to put holes in clouds, and he literally could do it. And he freaked out his partner. So then the other day when I was sitting in carpool, I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to erase a cloud. And so I started, and I couldn't do it with my mind. So I grabbed my little finger and I started to erase a cloud, and I did. And then my eldest daughter erased a cloud. So maybe you guys, those are little practice things that I know that besides the Pazit, taught me about the coffee and the cookies and stuff, that really does help think like, wow, we do have the power. So I think you guys should try to go erase clouds.
Absolutely. No, we do have the power. We have the power. And so that's why we're here. And this is why the Mastermind is here, to remind everybody that we are the creators of our reality. And we have more power than we know of. It's just a question how to use it. Nobody questioned how to use it. We weren't taught, everything.
Your thoughts are like lasers.
Yeah.
I mean, they really are. They have that much power. That's that whole example about the clouds and Bob erasing clouds. He taught his kids how to erase clouds. I mean, this was this example. But really, he explains too that our thoughts are so powerful, right? Every thought, and it really makes you think. I have an expression that I put around my house, and it says, be very picky about what you think about. And it just reminds me constantly to keep my thoughts on track, to keep them on road instead of off road. That's how I sometimes think of it. If you go off in the gutter, it's like, no, get back on the road. Your thoughts don't belong there. And you literally pattern interrupt yourself, so that when you start becoming aware of the way you think and seeing a pattern or a feeling that is not going to serve you, your job is to start becoming habitual about course correcting, right? It's that literal, because your thoughts have so much power. You don't want to give any of that power away. You want to keep that power for you and creating your life. So, laser beam your thoughts in the direction that you want. And as soon as you see that you're going off course with them, course correct and pattern interrupt it. Like, for example, Jenny and the bill, like next time the envelope comes in the mail, Jenny will likely say, oh my gosh, I wonder what check I'm getting.
Exactly. It's just a switch, right? You switch your mind. I think Wanda also had a story. What we're going to do is we're going to limit the stories to about like 2 minutes per person. The only reason is it will give everybody a chance to talk. So just give us like the gist of the story. We love your stories, and we love that you're sharing, because it creates a very sound foundation, but we happen to be more and more every time. So Carolyn and I, we're trying just to like a little bit time manage, so everybody gets a chance to speak. We don't want to leave the mastermind with somebody not sharing their thoughts, especially what you understood also from the lesson as well. So Wanda said she had a story. I'm curious
Wanda
to hear. She said something I said.
Charlene has one.
I'm curious. I have no idea which one. Yeah. Fine.
Okay, so I will make it quick.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for this. Okay, so about 5 years ago, remember when I went to your studio and you did the photos of my children?
Yeah.
It was the beginning of one of the stories of this energy. I remember sitting with you as I think we were a bit on like a few minute break as the kids were changing into their suits. And you mentioned something about your Mercedes. Do you remember what you said about your Mercedes at the gas station? And you were saying like, okay, you were wishing to buy a bigger Mercedes, but you had that little Mercedes and you're like, I'm not feeling it. And you were telling me this, and I'm like, God bless you to even have a Mercedes. And I'm looking at you like, what? And then one day when you were at the gas station and you were pumping the gas, the gentleman says, is it the Mercedes that you need to pay? And then all of a sudden it hits you. You're like, yeah. And then all of a sudden that pow. Do you remember that story?
Yeah.
You told me that was such a big impact on me. Because you made me realize that just because we don't get what we see right away at that present time, it will come, the exact car that you wanted. You went with what you could afford at the time. But it wasn't like the big bang, like, oh my God, this is my big Mercedes. You had that simple little Mercedes, but it was the beginning. But you made me realize that it was the feeling that was making you unbalanced. But once that man behind the cash that says, is it the Mercedes you'd like to pay for? It made a big difference. So that was a big impact. And that happened, 5 years ago, before even meeting Carolyn. And talking about Carolyn with dimes, remember when I was at your place and we saw the dime? The 10 cents. So you both have the same mindset. It's the same thing. But I have to say one last story. I'm paying it forward for what you guys are teaching me on a regular basis. There's a friend of mine that I see weekly. She does not believe in karma, doesn't believe in universe, doesn't believe in anything. So she said that at Christmas she felt to give me $200 for my children. And she goes, this is $50 each. I have 4 kids. This is for your children. Don't tell nobody, but she gave it to me with love, because I was explaining to her weekly when I would see her all the things I'm learning in your classes. So I'm paying it forward for what you guys are teaching. So she is slowly shifting, but this was a big impact. She gave me freely $200 to give my kids for Christmas, knowing nothing to be returned, didn't care. Her husband goes and buys her a Mini Coupe for her Christmas gift. She calls me, she goes, oh my God, this is what happened. I gave you willingly without no connection, nothing in return, just giving willingly because she had it. She wanted to give it, and she gets a car.
Yeah. It's so much
and
fun.
that law worked both ways, right? Because you were giving willingly of your knowledge
Yeah.
that you were learning and sharing with her, whether she agreed or understood or accepted it. You just gave it willingly, and
God
then
bless you, Carolyn. I just
without
didn't get that.
expectation,
Yeah.
you received, compensation financially for your children.
Yes.
Doesn't matter, but yes. So you
And then
gave.
she gets a car. See how it all like balls
Always works.
Always
Yeah, laws
work.
are always working. It just goes to show that the laws are always working. So you keep all these examples in your mind, so you just know, you just know that the universal laws are the true laws, and those are the laws that you need to follow.
Well, it was powerful, and I
It
just
is
felt
very
like
powerful.
so thank you for recognizing that, Carolyn. I didn't even realize that until you just mentioned it now, that because of my knowledge, passing it forward, she received a car, and I received the. It's like we're all getting happy here.
Yeah, the most important thing is to pass it on. Pass it on.
Yeah.
Once we have this knowledge, is to awaken everybody to this knowledge, because why they call the 11 forgotten laws? Because nobody spoke about them. So we forgot about them. And so those laws are invisible. So unless somebody speaks about it, because they're all invisible, they're happening inside our minds, nobody can see it. So everybody's just going by physical laws, and it's very misleading. It's very misleading. But once you understand this power, and you see, now imagine this whole tribe, as we're growing every week. You see 12 people manifesting, then you see 22 people manifesting, then 100 people. You're like, well, it must be so. It must be so.
It is so. It is so.
Exactly.
Thank you guys for listening. I appreciate it.
You got it. Thank you, Wanda. So let's go through somebody who hasn't spoken yet. If you could share a story or share just your understanding from the law.
I know that Gabriella wanted to share, so I'm going to unmute, and then Charlene, because Charlene's on the call. Charlene's been doing an awful lot of giving, and things are starting to really show up for her. So I wanted her to share with us as well. So go ahead, Gabriella.
Good morning, everybody. So happy to be on this morning. It's been a fantastic week. Oh my God. I mean, I have to say that ever since I cut my freaking hair, I've been having this feeling of that song of James Brown, I feel good every day. And I guess it's just a great vibration that I've been having. And man, I'm seeing things happen. Some I'm in tune with, some I'm not. But 3 funny things that happened to me this week was I've been one of my clients who has been trying to have a dinner with me for over a year and whatever. At one point I was figuring she's not going to make it, but she did this week. She's like, yeah, we're going. And that's why I missed Wednesday night's call, unfortunately, but I had such a great time with her. We get in the car, I go pick her up. She says, oh, dinner's on me. I'm like, what? No. Okay, thanks, I go.
That's right. Graciously received.
Yeah. Another little stupid thing, I was having fun with the universe, because Pazit, you say, the universe is playful. So I was driving around, and I really needed to get a parking, and it was driving me crazy. Like, okay, guys, I need a parking space. And 2 cars pulled out. I had the luxury of finding 2 spaces ready there for me. And the last thing that happened that was just blew my mind, I woke up that Friday morning, and I just said in my mind, oh man, it would be nice. My daughter's name is Marlena, and she's expecting a baby. So I said, oh, it'd be nice if Marlena would call and we could go shopping on Sunday. Sunday would be a good day to go shopping. Well, I kid you not, 6 hours later, she called me and she said, Ma, what are you doing today? Are you finishing early from work? I said, yeah, why? She says, let's go shopping.
Oh, so much fun.
So I just wanted to share, that's just like a lot of little fun things, and being aware is a lot more in tune. Being in tune, yeah, it's so much fun.
And our thoughts are transferable.
I was just going to say, thought transference is really powerful stuff.
Yeah, so it's very powerful. You don't even need to make the phone calls. I sometimes just have fun. I say, oh my God, I need to call so-and-so, and I just focus on them. And then I get a message from them. I'm like, thank you. It's like a divine secretary, Yeah.
Yeah.
It becomes really fun. It really
is fun.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
So thank you for sharing.
Thank you. That's great. And I just love the awareness. I think that's what's the most interesting thing. Like, the more you learn, that you have the knowledge, but then once you have the awareness, then you can apply all this knowledge. And once you understand how the laws are working for you, then you can actually make them work for you. So then you understand how
100%.
your thoughts make a difference and your feelings, especially how you're feeling.
Oh my
So
God, honestly,
you
since
shifted
the,
your vibration when you cut your hair because it made you feel so, so good. And
yeah.
that feel good feeling is completely in alignment with divine creation. So you can't not have things show up in your life when you're feeling so good.
100%. It works.
It works.
Oh yeah,
100%. Thank you so much for
every
sharing.
time.
Thank
Great.
you guys.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so Charlene, I'm going to unmute you and get on your camera. I don't know if she's, hello, Charlene.
Good morning.
Good morning. We don't see you.
Okay, hang on.
You had your camera on before.
There we
There
are.
you are.
There I am.
Hey,
Hi.
Charlene.
Good morning, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be here. And this every morning and sitting and hearing all these stories is such a blessing and so powerful. And it's like refueling the batteries. And because human-made stuffing will pull you away from the on-scene. So now this is a reminder every day that this is the way the universe works, right? So yeah, it's awesome. Thank you so much.
So I know that for you, you've been giving a lot of your time and your, of your energy into your whole Piñata brand. And, I see so many things that are coming your way, and you've been, showing up at opportunities where you just go and show people more and more about your book and your precious piñata and your book for kids and whatnot. So it looks like the giving that you have been doing consistently and just kind of giving of your time and your energy and your knowledge and your expertise, things are starting to show up for you that are, showing you the way.
Like in incredible ways. And you always trust in things are going to work out, and you don't think about all the logistics. And it's been like that since I started the project. And in the last few weeks, so many doors have opened. It's so incredible. I was at Staples for International Women's Day, and I had the Knights of Columbus come out. They've been following my work. And I've talked to them about getting this message into the churches as a form of reconciliation. And he's going to line me up with the bishop. So also, I'm going to be on the front cover of the Drive magazine, which is
nice.
a huge magazine. And they approached me, and I was going to be part of an edition on mental health. And I was more than happy to contribute to that. And then they sent me a message that I will be on the front cover because they really, really like the messaging and the products and everything. And at the end of the day, it is all about giving, caring for others, love, growing global love, and shifting global paradigms that are very damaging, and especially for children, and preventing adversity. And then I got another email yesterday and a call. I have been asked to speak in Fort Albany, which is a First Nations reserve 1 hour north of Timmins. So this is, I have so much content in all of my products about First Nations and what happened with the residential schools, and even with Precious Piñata, teaching children about what was done to First Nations children and the importance of being diverse and not separating people because of color or culture, that we need to celebrate this. So that's very exciting, and that's just in a couple weeks. So they're flying me from Toronto to Timmins to Fort Albany, because you can only get there by a charter plane, and there's going to be 200-300 people, just phenomenal. And I have such a love in my heart for First Nations people, and working with them with healing and everything. So, and then I had a presentation at the Chatham-Kent Health Alliance for all the doctors there. And it's just growing. And I know that this is the year where I'm going to make my breakthrough to retire from policing. I've been in it for 25 years, and this is my love to do this and helping people every day, because I see the effects. And you have to understand that your creativity comes from the divine, and it flows through you as an instrument. So I feel that every day, that I am working for God. I'm not working for anyone. I'm working for a higher power to leave my footprint on the planet, you know, in my time here, to make a difference.
I love that you said that, Charlene. It's so funny. I was talking with Carolyn this week, and I was telling her, you know, in life, we're not meant to just have one position. You know, sometimes God needed you in the police force, but now he's like, okay, Charlene, the police force days are over. We need you in the piñata force now. You know?
Yeah.
So we gave you a new position. Now, a lot of people resist. You know, I was telling that to Carolyn, because I myself feel the same. I'm in transition from photographer to, I want to do more of this, you know, helping people create the reality. It's like, once your police force served you, to become that, you know, the next step in the evolution, so you can understand like people and, you know, and the psychology and all that. And now you're ready to take it into the world through the piñata, you know, the whole piñata movement.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very important, it's very important for people to recognize that you don't have to take a position for the rest of your life. Like, God will put you where you are needed, you know, and it's okay to let go of the past. It's okay to let go of, you know, whatever you were before. The police force is just a title we give ourselves anyways, you know. So I commend you for that, and thank you for like using your power. And I love how everything is just coming to you. People are reaching out to me. They want to hear you. They want you on the front cover. They want, you know.
Yeah, it's coming to you. These are roles that we play. You know, we have different roles. If you go back over, you know, your life, and you can actually think of the different roles that you were assigned to play. And now your role is, and I know that you had set up a date where you wanted to retire, and we said, well, it may happen sooner than that, because, you know, things are moving forward for you so quickly that sometimes we think, you know, a human date of a specific date on a calendar is what we think is the date. But in fact, our creative spirit is going to bring it forth to us much sooner than that. So we don't want to be attached to things in such a way that they limit us, and they keep us, you know, they keep us back. They hold us back because our belief is that this is the date. Either way, sometimes we think, okay, I have a goal, and it has to be on this date, and that date comes and goes, and you think, oh, I choose the wrong goal. It's not the wrong goal. It's the right goal. You just had the timing wrong. That's all. And then you just reassign the time, but you stick to the same goal, because we have to understand that there's laws working in the timing of things that are not our timing to make.
Yeah, exactly. We just have to allow. We have to get out of our own way. Allow. Just allow. Know that when you're doing what you're called to do, your higher calling, when you're following your higher purpose, you just have to allow. You have to let yourself be guided, despite what you see, despite the circumstances. You know, just let yourself be guided. Know that it's all going to work out for your highest good.
Thank you.
Your circumstances do not be guided by anything that's happening in your present day reality. Your reality is actually in your imagination.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I just wanted to mention another surprise came. I was nominated for 7 awards in an upcoming Canadian Author Recognition Day celebration. So today's the last day to vote, so I can send everyone the link. So I've been nominated in 7 categories, and I don't look at that as I say, thank you, God, for giving me this opportunity, and I'm doing just basically what I was created to do.
I love that. I love that. Definitely. I've been voting for you every day, so please send everybody the link. We all support one another. This is what we're here. This is what the Mastermind is for. We all support one another in thinking or whatever else needs to be done to help you be who you're created to be. So thank you for sharing, Charlene. Is there anyone else? I see Tyron Rose. I see
Michael is on here.
Yeah, so let's get Michael to share as well, because we're going to wrap that. So like 2 minutes, everybody, you can share with us what you understood, or if you want to share a quick story in giving, receiving, that's also cool.
Val is on as well. I don't know if Val is in the sharing or she's in the listening mode this morning.
Yeah, we'll get Val too. Everybody gets 2 minutes, okay? So let's get Michael on for 2 minutes.
Are you there, Michael Challenger? I don't know where exactly he is these days. He's been traveling about. Michael.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. Good morning.
Yes. Good morning, everybody. So I just wanted to say, I joined the call a little bit, jumped in a bit late, but it has been an incredible, I would say 3 weeks, 3 weeks of transforming recently. There's just been a lot of wins. And these wins, ladies, because there's no gentlemen on the call, these wins have been phenomenal because it is not only supporting my life, but it's really in conjunction with the mission. And I think that one of the things that I want to say on the call was, really, if we can put aside, the things that we just want for ourselves, like it's wonderful to receive those things, right? It's wonderful to know that our existence, our power is working. But if we can actually really focus on the intention, I think what Charlene was saying a little bit earlier on is that it's just wonderful when you actually are working for the divine, when you're working for your true purpose, and you understand that it's actually healing others, then our mental, our brain shifts into another space to understand that we are here for the big, for the thing that we were born. So I have to explain it, but it's the thing that we're meant to do, right? And if we can actually get deeper with our own self to understand that we will achieve what we are meant to do. So I just, there's many wins. I have 2 new business spaces here in Toronto, which is really phenomenal. I've been hiring, staff that is completely in line with my brand and what I'm doing, and I'm pushing and I'm moving, and I'm really making really solid decisions that I know will, that it's going to happen. And every day there's new ideas and new things happening. So it's really, really wonderful to see. It's really wonderful to see who I'm attracting into my life, and things are moving. So and everybody on this call, I know at some point, I will be speaking to each and every one of you about something different, that what you guys are doing too, because we're all in alignment. We all can support one another to do this. So it is, anyway, there's so much to say. I know that we have 2 minutes, but it's been a wonderful time, and just continue to trust your life, because it's really powerful.
Thank you. That's great.
Thank you for the share. Absolutely. It is. It's all about trust, trust the process, trust that if you were given this gift, you're going to be given everything that you need to support it. So thank you for that.
It's interesting how these invisible laws, there's one law that we know really, really well. We're familiar with it. It's a visible law because we can see evidence, the law of gravity. So, you trust the law of gravity. You can't see it, okay? But you know of it because you can get quick evidence to remind you that it works, right? So if you were to stand on the edge of a building and wonder, should I jump? Okay, you would already know. That might not be a good idea because you know how the law of gravity actually works because you have evidence of it. So understand that every law works that way. There's evidence of it. You're just not as accustomed to being aware of it. But as you become aware of it, and dimes and nickels and change start showing up, it doesn't matter the quantity, right? Nothing is neither good nor small. It only becomes so when we compare it to something else. So it just is so. So if you see a dime, say, there's my evidence. Like dropping a pen, that's your evidence. So start becoming a little bit more aware in your environment when the law is working for you. And when you're in that great feeling vibration, try to stay in that place, and feel really, really good. And know that when you're there, everything will start coming toward you. It must. It's law.
Absolutely.
It's how it works.
I love it. It's true. I mean, think about it. Our job really is to mind our thoughts and to stay happy. I mean, guys, come on. It's so much fun. Why would we choose anything else, that goes against our nature? So before we wrap it up, let's just hear quickly from, I think there's 2 more people that haven't had a chance to share.
Yeah, Tyron is on the call. And
yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so let's get Tyron. Tyron, 2 minutes, please. Either share a story of giving or receiving, or anything that you understood today from the lesson.
Alrighty. Hi everyone. Thank you for having me on here this
Good
morning.
morning.
Well, if we want to talk about law of attraction, um, for me it's kind of crazy because I recently got into an accident. Um, I was riding my bike and I got hit by a car. Um, you can say that it was like I attracted it because I did have some negative thoughts. Um, and like you said, right, you got to watch what you think about, right?
Yeah.
But I also feel like it also taught me to slow down my life because I was trying to do so many things and I wasn't focusing on just one thing. And this allowed me to actually embrace my life more and be humble more and actually start giving more. And so um, basically what I'm trying to say now is that um,
It woke you
my
up.
sister, basically, yes, exactly that. It woke me up. And basically my sister loved to go see Ellen. And I was like, wow, this could be my opportunity to give something back to her that I wasn't able to do when I didn't have much money and I wasn't uh, didn't give her any Christmas gifts or anything. So I thought, like let me brighten up her day and give her something that it's her dream type of thing. And to give somebody like that feeling of a that dream, like it kind of enhances your dream more. It's like you're giving back, but you're also receiving back by the happiness that you get from it. And crazy enough, that same day I see patterns. So I see license plates. Sometimes they pop out of nowhere, and it's like a constant pattern. Not pattern, but constant a repetition type of thing. Exactly.
Numbers. Yeah, the universe is talking to you. You can look up the numbers. They all have meanings.
Oh, it wasn't numbers. These are letters.
Oh, letters?
And yeah, so I see LDY, which is ladies, and right now I'm in a conference with a bunch of ladies who are very intelligent. So the universe is telling me to follow my feminine side, I guess you want to say, my feminine energy, because everybody likes to be like, not everybody, but I was trying to be more masculine, so more tough and more this, but it's just again slowing down and just being in tuned and intuitive with yourself. And so everywhere I went, I always sell LDY, whether it was going to my massage place, or I don't want to tell the story because it's way too long, unfortunately. But wherever I was going, there was LDY everywhere, and I was like, okay, so this is my sign to, like, actually, like I'm in the right place, basically.
Yep.
So, yeah, and it's strange because even 2 days ago, I got my mom her yoga class for a month, and yeah, we ended up what were we doing? Oh yeah, she picked me up from my massage, and we ended up going to go to Tim Hortons. And as I was coming out of Tim Hortons, there was a Jeep that said LDY on it, and I told my sister, I was like Sasha, remember LDY because you're gonna be seeing it everywhere. I'm telling you. And yeah, it was just very strange that I was in the right place again. So so now I'm accepting my life more and more, and I'm embracing it more and more. And like you said, when you think about joyful things and you just want to give, you don't think about first of all yourself, but you're just in that constant flow of it feels like a nourishment because like you're nourishing your
Generosity.
soul by just
Generosity.
allowing.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, you feel good. When you give
Right.
something, when you give something to someone, you feel great, and you see how they react to it, and it makes them so happy. For you, it's like you know what I mean? Like sometimes when I give things, like it's no biggie for me, but I see to them, it marks them for a very long time. Sometimes people would tell me things I did like 15 or 20 years ago, and I'd be like, really? You remember that? Like they're like, you don't remember? I'm like, no, like,
Yeah,
So it's really amazing.
I
And
agree
what
with
I love is I love how you're connecting the dot. And obviously I want to just bring up one little point is whatever you focus on expands. So you're focused on LDY, I think. So wherever
yes,
because you have
exactly.
those letters in your mind, you keep seeing them. So the universe just shows you that whatever you have in your mind comes out in your reality. That's what it is. So you're the creator. The
And
universe is showing you that you're the creator because you have those letters in your mind. It's showing it to you repetitively, that you keep creating it because that's what you have in your mind. Now you think to yourself, if you have other things in your mind, what else are you creating? Have fun with that.
but that's
Yeah.
it. But that's it though. And I have one more thing. My favorite car is a Maserati, and it's the winter time, and it's a very luxury car, so you don't really see it often. But wherever I have like a positive thought or just a positive idea, there is that car. And like there'll be times where, you know, like I'm kind of sad, and then the car will like lift me up. Like I'll just see it around the corner, or I'll see the frame, not the frame, but the structure of the car, and like from a mile away, and I'll be like, oh my God, okay. And then I get
That's
this big smile on my face, like, okay, I'm right
the
where I need
universe
to be.
supporting you, supporting you, supporting you. And
Yeah.
that's what happens. You know, when you say you see all these letters and, you know, you were coincidentally at the right place, that has nothing to do with it. You're
And
creating all of it. Your thoughts are creating it. So yeah, the Maserati just kind of in your rear view mirror on your side view. It's like, okay, universe is being like
but
very
that's it.
and very playful with me, and that's where you want to stay. That just
Yeah.
reminds you, this frame of mind that you're in, this feeling that you're in, keep it.
That's
This
right.
is where you want to
Yeah,
live.
exactly.
Thank you so much, Tyron,
Just
for
one last
sharing.
thing. Hold on.
Yeah.
Because
Just
we want
one
to give a
last
chance.
thing though,
Okay,
because
one last thing, because we're going to give a chance to everybody to speak. Okay.
this was so so basically I really wanted to do massaging, and basically I was feeling really groggy in that, so I ended up just randomly calling Capino place that's in the Monster Gym. And basically when I went there, the lady told me that somebody just canceled her booking, and I was just like right on time. And not only that though, she gave me this this chiropractor, and so now like everything is just working out where it needs to be, you know. So it's very amazing to
So,
actually, you know, to put that
so
out
do you
there.
see the link, Tyron, between giving and receiving here?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so you
100%.
were generous and you were giving without expectation. You gave to your sister. You know, you wanted to give back to your sister and your mother, and all of this stuff comes back, and you. It seems random because you gave without expectation, but when you start looking at how you have been willing and graciously receiving the massage happening right on time, all of these things are in response to your giving.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Wow.
The universe works so beautifully. So I think
Thank
Well,
you.
thank you.
thank you so much for sharing. We love hearing. We could stay here all day, but we have to, kind of moderate it. And so before we leave, I'd love to hear from
Wow.
Val, please. Yeah, Val, please share something, giving, receiving, or anything you understood from the lesson.
Oh, the lesson I love. It's actually great because what I did the 10-minute presentation at my BNI group this week.
Nice.
And I did the presentation on Giver's Gain, which is the guiding philosophy
Right.
of BNI. So I called it Giver's Gain and More, the Metaphysics of Success. So I talked about where Giver's Gain comes from, which is the law of cause and effect, but also giving and receiving. And everybody really enjoyed it. And then I sent it to my area director because I said, like, I don't know if you ever invite people from other chapters to give presentations to other chapters or what you do, but this might be great. And she loved it, and she's going to she's going to go to the director of BNI Quebec because she thinks that this would be a better topic to do with the directors after they're finished all of their training than what they were originally going to do. So that's happening.
That's fine.
Yeah, had a great presentation on Friday, $12,000 project that I'm proposing, and I think they're going to go for it. So really happy about that. I've been using my mind to reshape my body, and it seems to be working. It's kind of cool. I got a waistline now.
I love it. Absolutely. Your mind.
My legs are looking better. So like when I'm practicing yoga, I visualize, like all of my muscles contracting to the bone and reshaping and reforming. So while I'm working my body, I'm telling my body how I want it to look afterwards, and it seems to be working. And
It works.
I needed a meeting place just very quickly. I mean, it's just been a whole other week of, holy F balls. That's my new mantra now. I just walk around going, holy F balls, like all day long. But I need a meeting place, and a friend of mine, an acquaintance of mine, is making her absolutely drop dead gorgeous loft in NDG available for meetings. Because of course she is, as soon as I need one. So
It shows up.
yeah, it's just all going, and I'm just, staying with the sense of ease and simplicity and elegance and all of that stuff that they talk about in Science of Getting Rich and U Squared and everything. Anytime I start to feel stressed or I'm having some sort of blockage on whatever it is that I'm working on, I just walk away and wait for the calm to come back, and then I just get through it. So I'm loving it all, and I can feel the money coming, and there's so much more, but I'm just going to stop now.
Well, I love it. I love it. There's always much more, and there is always much more, I think that's the way it is, once you understand and you're working with the laws and you're just in flow, and that's why there's so much more good stuff,
Yeah.
more good stuff. So
do we have a minute or two for Wendy? I think Wendy hasn't shared on the call. Wendy Montiel.
Okay, sure. So Wendy, please take another 2 minutes and we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, I'll try to keep it short this time.
We got 2 minutes. We got 2 minutes, girl. Go, take it.
It was so exciting last time. I think, so pretty much what's happened is that we're still kind of waiting on the job to go forward. The people have decided to, like with the organizing, they've decided to get other quotes. But it turns out that the gentleman that I had to contact to come out with me for this job, because the scope is so huge, like he's been a great contact. So actually Friday we ended up going to the Toronto Home Show, and he introduced me to some other contacts that had booths at the show that will benefit my organizing. And so I think really with all this, because it was such a whirlwind and so much all at once, and I'm like, okay, what's going on here? Like, even if we don't end up with the job, the contacts and just the information that I'm getting is going to be so beneficial down the line. Like, it's just all that info and connections that I need to help other people and to help forward me are just, it's coming, and it's coming rapid fire. So, yeah. Which I'm really excited about.
Yeah. Wendy, I was just going to say, if you want the job, it's yours. You just have to decide. You can't be wishy-washy about it. If you want it, it's yours. Just decide it's yours already.
Yeah, well, also I'm looking at March break coming up this week, and I wanted to spend some time with my dad and my son and taking him out to see my dad. And so it looks like we're going to get that little hiatus. And when we're ready to move forward, I think that
it'll all work out for you.
It's going to happen. So
well, it's whatever you want. You decide. You're the creator. Yeah. So if you're wishy-washy about it, like you want it, but you don't want it, it's okay. Maybe if we get it, you're not going to get it. Because being wishy-washy is not going to give you what you want. You have to be like, we're going to get this job. Like, this job is ours. It belongs to us. I could already feel myself.
Feel what it feels like to have it, and it's here, and it's already here. It's already achieved. It's already done. So if you're saying, well, if we get it and we don't get it, well, if we don't get it, then it means this and it means that. That's like,
it cancels it out right away. Right away.
Well, we're going to get it. We're just going to get it after, like, we get that little hiatus of what I need to sort of be ready to move forward. So I believe that. It's again, it's, I think sometimes the knowledge and the information we receive out of something, is just as powerful as what we think we're going to get. So, the fact that I got such a grand scale job, or the option to quote on one, was like, I would have walked away from it right away when I first got the call. But I'm like, no, I want to go. Like, this is something towards what I want to do. So I want to go. I want to see this. And, you know, I called the appropriate people. Like, I happened to.
You took action, and now it's showing up. And so what you want to do is say to yourself, it's done. It's already done. The timing.
If you want it, only if you want it.
The timing that you perceive is only your timing. So let go of it. Let go of the timing of it. It will happen in divine timing, and it will happen for you. Whatever happens at this place is controlled by how you're thinking about it. So just be mindful of how your thoughts are trying to maybe manipulate the timing of it. Just let go of all of it and say, I have the job. We have the job.
I was trying to force it prior to. So earlier this week, you know, I let go of it a little bit and went, okay, well, you know what? I'm not going to force this, because I did want to move forward faster. So I have let go, and that's what's happened. It's coming in its own time. And so I'm just trying to think, okay, well, you know what? Yeah, there's a reason that it's not now, like it was a hurry up, and now it's a stop, and just let it happen.
Nothing is forcing. Your only job to do is to hold on to the outcome that you want. That's all.
As if it's already here. Like
whatever it is, you choose. You know, nobody's but it's not to force. You can't force anything. Force negates. But your only job is to, if this is what you want, is you hold on to the idea that you've received it. Just like Wanda held to the idea that she's on the Ellen show, even though her name was not mentioned on TV, we still had her keep holding on to the idea that she is going to go to to meet Ellen, and that's what happened, you know? So just to keep mindful of that. But thank you so much for sharing. And I think what I'll do is I'll start wrapping this up. Caroline, you okay with that?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so I want to thank all our creators for showing up this Sunday at 7 a.m. We are so grateful to have you and to be able to share this knowledge and pass it on with you. We definitely want you to pass on this knowledge. If you have any friends, please feel free to invite them. We're also having on March 24th our live brunch in Montreal. So if you are in Montreal, please join us for brunch. And you can pick our brains, Mastermind, if you have anything you're going through, any any suggestions or ideas you'd like. It'd be a great time to do it one-on-one when we're on the brunch. And
the registration page I'll send out again. I'll just keep posting the registration page. Some of you have registered, either the brunch mastermind together or just the mastermind afterwards. Either way, you have an option to do either or. And I'll drop in your inboxes, I'll drop the registration for that.
Perfect. And just remember that you are the creators of your reality, and that your mind is your workshop. So guard your mind and have a lot of fun this week.
Great. We'll look forward to the stories for next week. Just, think and feel really, really good and watch the magic happen.
All right. Have fun, guys. Enjoy your week. Go create now.
Thank you. Bye. Have a great week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.